Well, for some people, a new career path is born out of a need to make life better for others when they've seen their share of heartache turn a negative into a positive. That's been the case for our next guest, who spends his time inspiring students to think about the choices they make and how those choices impact their lives and the lives of those around them. 10 years ago, John Morello lost his older brother, Glenn, a musician, to an overdose. This is a clip of Glenn just a few months before his passing.
You know, I have a younger brother who's here tonight, and he does these shows in schools all across the United States, in high schools and junior high schools, and he talks to kids and gives them a choice and really helps them find their way. And he's you know, I'm the one who has the problem, and he's the one who's got the job doing that, and it's great, and he's doing a wonderful job and touching a lot of youth.
Heartfelt words from Glenn Morello, his brother John, Worcester native, is with us here this morning to discuss the book and the one-man show he started as sort of a therapeutic side project. And John, first of all, talk a little bit about your brother. What was his situation? How old was he passed away? What types of things was he dealing with?
He was a heroin addict. He was 40 years old when he passed away. He was dual diagnosed, like a lot of people who are addicts. He was dealing with a lot of issues, and I think once you sort of fall into these traps, you kind of spiral down. I guess he was an addict, but he was a great guy.
And he's your brother?
He was my brother. Right. He was a father. He was a terrific guy.
When they hear about this, they tend to focus on the demons that trap somebody instead of the person who was taken in by those demons.
Exactly. I mean, we tend to moralize about addiction, but it can happen to anyone. I mean, he was a golfer. I mean, how many heroin addicts, you know, golf, right? I mean, he had so many great aspects to himself.
So the side project we're talking about here is turned into one of the most popular assemblies for students across the country. Tell us exactly what you're doing and how you've incorporated what happened to your brother into this one-man play and into your book.
Well, after he passed away, I had written the show beforehand. And after he had passed away, it really made me think about things a little differently. It made me sort of look back on my own life in high school when I was sort of at that pivotal time where you could either go one way or the other. And I started writing about that, and I started performing this one-man show. I started out as an actor and then went into comedy, and then I eventually ended up writing this one-man show. I didn't write it for kids. I wrote it for just the general public. It caught on with a teacher. She brought it into her school. That was, you know, several years ago. Now I'm doing the show about 120 times a year across the country.
What's the response you're getting from the kids that you're trying to reach?
They're digging it.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's different than a motivational speaker coming in there.
How so? Because I know you play all the characters in the play.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Well, it's a work of fiction. It's a play. It's not me standing there moralizing or preaching. I mean, I'm walking into an auditorium where there's 500 kids who are just sort of sitting there waiting for you to suck.
Right.
And so I'm getting up there and I'm doing something a little different. And I think if you can make people laugh, you can kind of take them anywhere with you on that journey.
So you're doing what, junior high, high school, college, across the board? What type of?
I'd say mostly high school.
Yeah.
Junior highs occasionally, colleges. I do, you know, just in a regular theater sometimes at nighttime too, but mostly high school. That's kind of my wheelhouse. What's
the core message you want the audience to come away with? Because obviously the presentation is working,
right?
Because they're paying attention to you and they know this is not going to be a typical lecture here.
Right.
But what is it you want them to take away from it?
I think the two biggest things are your individuality and your connection to others. Those are the big. You can sit there and get bogged down in specifics and things like that. But I think if you are comfortable with who you are as an individual, then you are less likely to be influenced by others. And if you feel connected to others, and if you feel others need you and you need them, and there's that connection, you're less likely to make poor choices. You're more likely to kind of like yourself and want to do good things for yourself.
Let's give folks an idea of what it is you do exactly. We have a little clip here we want to share with everybody.
It's just hypocrites, my parents. I mean, my mom is on Prozac. My brother takes Ritalin. My dad takes Viagra. And then they look at me, and what do they tell me? Don't do drugs.
And that's, you know,
yeah,
that's the way it is. It seems like, wait a minute, there's something hypocritical going on here.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's called Dirt. Is there significance to the title there?
That's kind of the metaphor that I was working under when I was writing it. It's not an acronym or anything like that. I eventually chose to call it Dirt because my dad was a World War II veteran, and for good luck, before he'd go off on his B-24 missions. He'd pick up dirt, put it in his pocket,
Great story.
and then you know, put it on the ground when he landed.
What can parents and educators take away from this? How would you like to see them get involved and help kids make the right choices?
Well, I think the biggest thing they can do is, you know, remember and listen. Remember what it was like to be young, to be feeling all these things at once, to want to belong but also want to stand out, to want to feel the thrill of getting lost but also the comfort of being found by sort of one person. Remember that confusing time, and they're feeling the same things that you feel for the first time, you know.
If folks want to get in touch with you, maybe some schools would like you to come out. What's the best way for folks to
My
reach you?
website, iamdirt.com. Come check out the show, and I'd love to come to I'll go anywhere.
Very nice. John Morello, we appreciate it very much, and you're doing some great work. Keep it up.
Thanks, Gene.